It took Rivian a long time to get to market with an electric pickup truck, but now is the time for the second act. We were blown away by Rivian's demonstration of a working prototype R1T electric pickup at the 2018 Los Angeles Auto Show. Its specs stumped people. Suppose we were talking about the best-case scenario for a pickup truck that runs entirely on electricity. These guys have figured out how to make a pickup truck perform well using an electric powertrain. We finally get to take one out for a serious drive 3 years later, after a pandemic and almost a year delay. We flew out to Colorado and stayed at a motel near Breckenridge, and we of course ate directly from the camp kitchen of the rollout trailer. In LA, Rivian unveiled its R1T prototype, which looks almost identical to the prototypes Rivian showed off in 2018. The all-electric pickup truck has been refined by Rivian for almost 3 years, and most importantly, it has been made mass-produced. Last week's first customer vehicle rolled off the assembly line almost a year early, even though the R1T was originally supposed to debut at the end of 2020. But that's not bad compared to other automakers adjusting to the reality of the pandemic and the uncertainties of electric drivetrains. Rivian is currently the only automaker producing electric pickups, even though the number is small, even though they beat Ford, Chevy, and EV expert Tesla to production. For a starting price of $67,500, you are probably looking at a delivery date of late 2022. There have been very few changes to the car since 2018. In the past few months, I've grown to appreciate those formerly questionable front lights. Our eyes can detect subtle upgrades like: Number 1. Front space is flatter and smoother around the edges. Number 2. Charging bay door now automatic motor driven. Number 3. Charging speed tops out at around 220 kilowatts versus 160 kilowatts promised. Number 4. Door handles are flat. That's pretty much it. Rivian R1T first look. A perfect mix of rugged luxury and sporty Spartan trim characterizes the interior. It measured 25.4 by 54.8 by 22.77 inches with a depth of 22.7 inches. If you've come this far in the video, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for the sake of tech news. Rivian R1T center stack. In contrast to legacy automakers who often outsource to QNX and now Google, it is impressive when startups, like Tesla in 2012, develop a whole operating system from scratch. Although Rivian's OS isn't as polished as Tesla's, it shares the same intentions. It wants to fully control the experience. However, the hardware for CarPlay and Android Auto exists, and they could theoretically be added at a later time. It didn't seem likely, however, in my conversation with CEO RJ Scaringe. In addition to music/audio and mapping, Rivian also wanted to own the entire experience, which included other smartphone projection screen features. As time goes on, you may see the company doing its own maps instead of Mapbox. With its fleet of trucks equipped with cameras and GPS within inches, Rivian will be able to build not only street maps, but also off-road trail maps that neither Google nor Apple will have access to. Considering Rivian's community-building efforts, you can imagine a Strava-like social network for Rivian users to share their thoughts and ideas about trails, charging, and life off-road. To make a car listening playlist of everyone's favorite songs, Rivian used a third-party app, Spotify Plus TuneIn. Meridian's sound system includes 4 overhead titanium speakers that surround the listener with clarity and depth. More apps, including voice recognition with Amazon Alexa, will be available through future OTA updates. Money like that from Bezos doesn't come for free. R1T drive modes. There is a fairly simple user interface for the rest. In contrast to most vehicles, the Rivian has 2 driving modes that completely change the vehicle. It feels like a jack-up 6,000-pound Tesla in sport mode, which most drivers will use daily. In all-purpose mode, acceleration is much slower and suspension is higher, so the vehicle feels more like a traditional pickup. In conserve mode, you only use the front motors and keep acceleration tame. As a result of rock climb mode, the suspension is lowered and the speed is kept low at all times. Although the center stack is cool, Rivian needs to invest more time and effort into this area. There were several instances when the driving mode wasn't switchable in maps, often took a long time to respond to finger swipes. You can consider it easily attainable since it is all software, but there is work to be done. Additionally, I would welcome the inclusion of CarPlay/Android Auto, but I realize that is unlikely to happen. Maybe get an iPad mount and an AUX cable if you can't live without Apple or Android. Currently, the autopilot system is a simpler traffic-aware cruise control system with lane assistance called Driver Plus, which is well suited to interstate travel. A total of 11 cameras are utilized by Rivian, 10 outside, 1 inside, which are assisted by 5 radars and 12 ultrasonic sensors. Level 3 autonomy is still not officially on the menu, so that seems like an odd number of sensors for glorified cruise control. Let's hope we hear more from there soon. A spokesperson told us that more sensors are better, especially off-road, when questioned about another company's vision-only approach. In addition to the large selection of Rivian vehicles in various colors from white, black, and silver to red, yellow, blue, and hunter green, it is also worth noting that a long lineup of Rivian vehicles are available. A great advantage of electric trucks is that they don't lose power at high altitudes, as do internal combustion engines, which rely on oxygen that dwindles as the atmosphere thins. The whooping is all the worse at these high altitudes if the R1T schools the ICE competition at sea level, which it does. The angle of attack and how methodically all 4 wheels kept traction while doing gymnastics over every obstacle was simply astonishing when climbing the rocks. In this case, having each wheel drive its own motor simply destroys the typical ICE model with one motor. We kept a reasonable pace despite the insistence of the R1T vehicles. But it wasn't easy because the lead car, which belonged to a local trail guide who also worked in Rivian's finance department, wanted to go faster. Things started to smooth out once we reached the tree line. Despite the very fragile ecosystem, we were allowed to open up the vehicles a little more and drift a little, without straying too far off the trail. Having owned one myself, I believe Rivian has a very bright future. A stable genius, CEO R.J. Scaringe has built an impressive company around the mission to revolutionize the fun truck market. A Rivian delivery truck is already in use making deliveries on the roads today, thanks to money from Amazon. There is just one thing the R1T is better than any other pickup. It's incredibly fast and impressive in a 0 to 60 sprint at just 3 seconds with racing suspension. Unlike gearless electric motors, gearless motors are quiet and do not cause nearly as much pollution as ICE motors. The vehicle is full of surprises and delights at every turn with a 300-mile range, and so many Easter eggs I can't count them all. The R1T is pretty much unique in a class of its own, unlike most new cars that arrive with a predetermined competitive set. A third-row seat, an electric powertrain, and off-road capability are unique to this SUV. Although the Land Rovers won't launch an electric vehicle anytime soon, the Discovery and Range Rover can take you quite far into the wilderness. No electric luxury SUV currently available, including the Audi e-tron, BMW iX, Cadillac Lyriq, Jaguar I-Pace, and Tesla Model X, can truly go off-road. Despite having a third row, the Tesla starts at $126,490, which is much more expensive than the Rivian. So, what do you guys think about this video? Please share your reviews in the comments section and let us know what you think about this Rivian R1T. I hope you find this video inspiring and informative. If you did, remember to like, share, and subscribe to this video. Stay tuned as we will come up with many new and exciting videos. Till then, goodbye.